Okay, so you're there for a little while, maybe a month or so, and you kind of get the gist of things and the fact that it's kind of a loosely grassroots organization.
Yeah.
So when things are going down, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the, when it got hot in the area, when things were were moving and shaking, when things became difficult with the police? Maybe you can address in June the fact that you want to extrapolate a little bit about how the police were as far as making sure that the tree sitters had food, and how how all that sort of thing went down. If you want to talk about some of your friends in the trees, or your relationships with other sitters and supporters, anything along those lines?
Yeah, well, I've touched on kind of broadly about the people that I met there. The police seemed to be on automatic, which is what their job is. They go to work and they enforce the laws and do what they're told. And so it seemed like there's a lack of understanding of the broader issues that were relevant to the situation on both sides. I think a lot of people, I think a majority of us, including me, were sucked into the immediacy of the situation because we had these tree sitters here that are, well, for a time they were going without food and without resupply of food and water, and it seemed like a lot of the people weren't able to step back and realize why we're all here. What I realize now is not only was the protest about saving this oak grove, it was also I don't know if this is one of the immediate goals of it, or one of the goals that from the beginning, but what it has become for me is a symbol of another mode of living, and also like an experiment in what material possessions people can go without, such as a house. We had people living in the trees for a year and a half, and that is a radically different existence than your normal house or apartment, or and I know people that were involved that were tree sitters that came in as one kind of person with certain ailments and certain problems they would say they had, and they came out of it as different people, and some of their ailments were helped. And so there's so many different things that went on during the whole thing. And of course, I was only there for the last 2-3 months. But everyone at times was probably on both sides, let their passions get away with them, and did things that were brash, and everyone at times had moments of clarity, like realizing new things about themselves, new things about others. even the passers-by. And one thing that I think this whole ordeal did do was make many people at least think about the issues at hand. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people all around the world heard about this protest. And I'm proud to say that I was there at the end to be a part of it, because for me it seems like I'm still looking for the right way to live for me, and I think a lot of people are, well, people always have considered that, but there's a certain amount of momentum for even getting the ordinary citizens, ordinary people, normal people, I guess. Normal is a funny word, but more mainstream people to think. All kinds of people. I mean, you had the International House right down the street. All kinds of international people came there and saw what was going on, and probably told some of their friends in their native lands, and so that's something I'm proud to say, to get so many people to even consider other points of view. It's very important. And I know I've been I'm thankful for having been involved, and thankful for the direction I'm going for now, and I wouldn't be going in this direction without the events that I was in, that I partook in during the summer. And yeah, that's it.
How old are you again?
I'm 24.
Are you ever going to go back to school?
Definitely consider it. When, I'm not sure. I would give myself at least a year before I go back to school. Maybe a couple. I don't know. But I feel like I've learned a lot more life skills outside of class than inside. And for me as an individual, I had my own situation. And this was very, very good for me. I feel like kind of came out of my suburban shell, so to speak. I was thrown into a crazy urban protest, and my eyes have been significantly opened to a lot more new, wonderful things, wonderful people, and wonderful ways to be.
Have you had any previous experience with political protest or peaceful protest?
No. No, I had not.
You mentioned earlier in the interview about culture and alternative lifestyles and lifestyle switching or changing. I'm sort of wondering, I used to be interested, I'm still interested in punk rock music, but I was interested in that sort of thing when it was very unpopular. A lot of people might have similar tastes in music or lifestyle choice. I'm wondering, before you left Southern California, if that was part of your personal history.
I'd had a lot of preparation in a way. I prepared myself to come to Berkeley in a way since I was several years ago at least. I was very much aware that this general area had a lot of history as far as free expression goes. I had read up a whole bunch about that, and in our society's history, is talked about the hippie movement and the free speech movement and all the other movements that got started in a certain decade, the 60s, that